The famous American poet Robert Frost wrote a well known poem titled Mending Wall. In it, he says, "Before building a wall, I would ask to know, what am I enclosing? What am I excluding?" It has become essential to reflect on what we are walling in and walling out within both our minds and our societies. Recently, we have been hearing back to back news about two different prisons. One was the news of the release of Govindachamy, a rapist, a name and person Kerala deeply despises, who walked free from prison. The other was the unjust incarceration of two nuns who are referred to as angels of mercy. Govindachamy had dragged and brutally assaulted a woman named Soumya, a symbol of beauty and innocence, and erased her from the face of this earth on a train. The two nuns were also taken away from a railway station, falsely accused of forced religious conversion and human trafficking, and sent to prison. Who are prisons really for? What is their purpose? After spending 9 days in jail with hardened criminals, the two sisters were released on bail. Even after knowing the truth, those who, wearing the mask of an ideology, put the nuns behind bars, there is still much to say to them and for them to learn. When we see a joy at the wrongful imprisonment of our beloved sisters, it becomes clear history is repeating itself. You must understand which history that is. You are rejoicing in the present stay of sisters who gave up their own dreams, lives, relationships, homeland, and everything they held dear to go where they were called to serve. And among those you once took joy in imprisoning was Father Stan Swami, our strength and a martyr of our times. Christ called us, saying, "I will make you fishers of people." And among those people, we did not see the politics, race, religion, color, wealth, caste, language, or region. We only saw their faces, and in those faces, the pain of hearts crying out, which we embraced. Among those we held were denied women who had been exploited and dragged through the worst abuses, who stood helpless in front of lust-driven men eager to throw stones. To the starving, dying on the streets, we cooked and fed them, following the command of Christ, who said to us, "Go out and seek the hungry and the poor." He said he was sending us like lambs among wolves. Even those afflicted with leprosy, whom you excluded from society, our sisters cared for with their own hands and full hearts. When you isolated people because of their caste or religion, even barring them from the entering temples, we stood by them, calling them our own. Christ taught us never to consider even children as weak. When a blind man stood with a begging bowl, our looters were ready to snatch even that. Christ inspired us to be those who would give light to that man's blindness, the reason he was begging in the first place. Despite doing all this, we say only this: we have merely fulfilled our duty. As Christ taught, let us not your left hand know what your right hand is doing. And if something asks you to walk 1 mile, walk with him too. It is this Christ whom our imprisoned sisters follow. They are not just two individuals. They represent the strength of many who are still ready to stand up and fight against injustice, violence, exploitation, religious hatred, and modern day slavery called human trafficking. The iron bars of the prison cells you build for us are, for us, paths to proclaim the good news, the truth, justice, love, goodness, forgiveness, and compassion. We owe you something, because it is you through your actions who helped us make Christ, who is our life, our guide, our strength, and our inspiration, shine even brighter. Thank you.